Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good. So today let's talk about productivity because, especially over the past couple of months with everything COVID, the productivity feels like sometimes it's such a challenge because, of course, we're dealing with like different work environments, maybe working from home for so many of us, kids and travel schedules that are changed and just all of the things that really zap productivity, even just the energy of what's going on in your house when you're trying to get work down. And so, what can we talk about and what can we do? And then we'll give some action steps on how to be more productive during this time.
Yeah, I think we all wish we could get more done in less time because there's more kids in the home and more to do, and we're just more tired just because there's so many changes and so much going on and so much stress. There's been some interesting studies looking at something called a multi-system resiliency plan. So how do we stay resilient? So resiliency is how we respond to changes, or so how do we make it through these kind of times? How resilient are we? And we all hope we're really resilient and we can make it through and we're good. But what are some tools that can really help us? Because we need that now because there's so many challenges right now because of COVID and work stresses. And so this plan looked at kind of three areas of our lives. So how connected we are to others, what we do in our lifestyle. So what are our daily habits? So our lifestyle habits, and then our emotional processing. So do we name our emotions? What do we do with them? Do we journal? Do we practice some stress management? So connections, lifestyle, emotional processing. If people did something in all of those spheres, they were way more resilient. And so we all want that, right? Like we all want to be able to, just kind of approach life and be able to handle it with grace. And this is an approach, So sometimes everybody has a go-to. Like I exercise, I'm good. I don't need to do any of these other things. But really, the studies suggest that being active in all those three areas, at least at some point during your week, will help you with your productivity because you'll be more resilient.
Totally. That makes,
Yeah.
yeah, huge. And that's really what the framework of what we love to teach is focusing.
Mhm.
So one thing you can do right now is evaluate your life on connection, on lifestyle habits, which this is the big one. It includes, everything from sleep to nutrition to whether or not you're smoking and drinking over a lot or at all, and how you're, focusing on your gratitude and you're managing stress. And then also the E stands for emotional regulation. So how are you doing that? How are you handling your emotions as they come up? Are you just stuffing them down, or are you finding ways to release them and managing them in a healthy way? And I think like even just like writing a big CLE on a piece of paper and then taking a second to think, okay, what am I doing in these spheres? And like you said, you might be good in some of the spheres or one or all. And if you are good in all of them, that know that you are really helping your brain. And hopefully the more that you incorporate that in your life, the more productive you'll be able to be. But also you might notice that there's kind of a big gap or a big hole. And so that's a huge place for opportunity, because I think what you said about doing something in all of them is amazing and really interesting. And so we feel like, okay, it doesn't have to be a ton, but if you are, making sure that you're consciously aware and active in those, you can have a huge jump in productivity and your brain function in general. So that is,
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, and it looks different. It may look totally like your plan, your weekly plan may look totally different now this time of COVID or this work stresses. And so you want to just say, you know what, I used to do X, Y, and Z, but now it looks different. And I'm only doing this one. So, oh yeah, I see all these opportunities are these two areas I really need to beef it up in because you see people, if you don't have a big social network, which a lot of people would see people at work, and that was a huge part of their network, and now they're not physically seeing people as much. And so they need to, then you need to know, oh, I need to do something different in this area. I need to beef it up in that area a little bit because it's not the same. And brains need connection. We're healthier when we're connected, and people die earlier and more often when they're lonely. So loneliness is a huge risk for mortality. So, it's not like, well, maybe I'll connect. This is like vital. This is like really important stuff.
you
Yeah.
know, People, myself included, we thought this might be more short term, and you thought like,
Right.
it's okay if I'm not as connected right now, I'll get back to it. And now it's like this is there's a lot of things that are staying and that are the new normal for right now. And so that's hugely important too, because we might have thought like, I used to go to the gym at lunch and I used to see that buddy, and now two of those things are kind of fallen off, and they're not coming back anytime relatively soon. So really
Right.
reevaluating your life on like right this moment and where you're going to go and what you're going to do for the next week or the next week, not in the far future or even in the couple month future. You're talking about like today and each day today, and that alone should help with productivity too, because again, you might be thinking that you are doing things, but you're not actually doing them right now. So that's huge.
Right. Yeah. Look for your opportunities. Yeah. Just make sure you're active in those 3 areas. Yeah.
Thank you. Great tips.
You're welcome. Take care.